My name is Emma, and I am 33 years old. I work as a nurse at a hospital, dedicating long hours to helping those in need. My job is exhausting, but I love it because it gives me a sense of purpose. Before last year, my life was simple. I lived alone, worked tirelessly, and visited my mother whenever I had the time. She lives in a small village, and I enjoyed helping her whenever I could. But everything changed when a new doctor joined our hospital. His name was Daniel. He was 2 years younger than me, incredibly handsome, with brown hair and deep blue eyes. He was friendly, kind, and had a smile that could brighten even the most exhausting shifts. All the nurses liked him, but I never imagined he would notice someone like me. I wasn't glamorous or striking, just an ordinary woman who wore simple clothes and kept her hair tied back in a practical ponytail. Yet, to my surprise, Daniel noticed me. He would greet me every morning with a warm smile, ask how I was doing, and engage me in conversations that made me feel seen. One evening, after a long shift, he offered to drive me home. I hesitated but eventually agreed. As we sat in his car, talking about our lives and families, I realized how easy it was to be around him. From that day on, he often drove me home, sometimes bringing me coffee or tea at work. We would sit together in the cafeteria, laughing and sharing our thoughts. I found myself looking forward to seeing him every day. Then, one weekend, Daniel asked me to go to the movies with him. We both had the day off, so I agreed. After the movie, we took a walk and talked for hours. I felt happy in a way I hadn't in a long time. I started to believe that maybe, just maybe, Daniel liked me as much as I liked him. But then, everything changed. A few days later, Daniel pulled me aside, looking conflicted. "Emma, I need to tell you something," he said. "I'm married." I was stunned. My heart dropped. He had never mentioned a wife, never worn a wedding ring. He explained that he had been married for 5 years to a woman named Rachel. They had no children and were distant from each other. "I'm not happy in my marriage," he admitted. "We have nothing in common anymore. With you, I feel different. I feel alive." I didn't know what to do. I cared about Daniel, but I didn't want to be the reason a marriage fell apart. I spent days thinking, questioning everything. If he was married, why did he seek me out? His wife was probably beautiful. Why would he choose to spend time with me? Then, one fateful day, I found my answer. I was shopping at a large supermarket when I heard his voice. My heart stopped. I turned around and saw him before he saw me. He wasn't alone. Beside him stood Rachel. She was stunning, tall, elegant, and graceful. She looked like she belonged on the cover of a magazine. Her clothes were expensive, her posture poised, and her smile radiant. They were laughing together, looking every bit like a happy couple. A wave of pain crashed over me. If he was so unhappy, why did they look so perfect together? Overwhelmed, I left the supermarket before they could see me. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the scene in my mind. Why had Daniel made me feel special if he was still sharing happy moments with his wife? I couldn't be the other woman. I needed clarity. The next day at work, I finally confronted him. "Daniel, we need to talk," I said. His smile faded. "What's wrong, Emma?" I took a deep breath. "I saw you at the supermarket yesterday. With your wife. You looked happy together. I don't understand why you're spending time with me if you're happy with her." Daniel sighed, his expression pained. "I'm not happy, Emma. Rachel and I have lost what we once had. With you, I can be myself." I wanted to believe him, but I also knew I deserved more. I needed time to think. "Daniel, I need space," I said. Over the next few days, I confided in my best friend, Sophie. She was always brutally honest with me. "Emma, you deserve someone who can be with you fully. Don't settle for less," she said. Her words stayed with me. A week later, Daniel called, asking to meet. We met at a quiet park, where the trees swayed gently in the breeze. My heart pounded as I prepared to be honest. "Daniel, I care about you, but I can't be in this situation," I said firmly. "You need to decide what you really want. If you're unhappy with Rachel, you should talk to her. But I can't be the other woman." Daniel looked deeply saddened but nodded in understanding. "I care about you, Emma," he said. "I just want you to be happy. I will think about everything." With a heavy heart, we said our goodbyes. As I walked away, I felt a mixture of sadness and newfound strength. I knew I had made the right decision, even though it wasn't easy. Life is full of difficult choices, but sometimes we have to choose what is best for ourselves. Months passed, and I focused on my work, on myself. I traveled to visit my mother more often, reconnected with old friends, and found solace in the simple joys of life. One day, as I walked through the park, I saw Daniel sitting on a bench, lost in thought. He looked up and saw me, and for a moment, we just stared at each other. Then he smiled, not the smile of a man hiding secrets, but one of understanding, of acceptance. Maybe in another life, things would have been different. But in this one, we had made our choices. And for the first time in a long while, I felt at peace with mine.